Hey guys, as you can tell, I am not John Macri. First of all, can everybody hear me? Okay, I just want to make sure that the sound is all right. I'm trying this with a microphone. I understand John doesn't because he's natural like that. But I'm super producer Andrew Claudio of the Knicks Film School Podcast and of 99% of the stuff you see at Knicks Film School. If you are just tuning in, you probably know already that John Macri is not here because he is a father of two now. So I'm going to charge you guys with one thing you could do right now because we're celebrating a Knicks victory, but we're celebrating something else, of course. We're celebrating that John, you know, how babies got here. Go to his DMs now because they're open and just flood him with congrats. He's not going to be mad at me because the Knicks won. So go right ahead. John, I know that's the thing. I think he's watching, which is the best part about it. He was texting me throughout the game, like notes, because he knew I was doing this. And it's like, you're in the hospital with your child, and he's like, I really like this Stewart kid. I think he's really good for the Pistons. So I'm gonna do my best to recap the game for you like he would. I'm gonna be probably close to, let's say, 50%, maybe 65% as informed. I'm definitely gonna be like 100% more sober. But it's gonna be, we'll have some fun tonight. We'll have some fun. So here's the deal. Um, this game, it it felt like a blowout, but it wasn't. I don't want to talk anything negative. The Knicks are 19-18 at the midway point. I think all of us would have signed up for it. I think we can all nitpick, so let's get that out of the way now. They only won by 10 against the worst team in the league. They were up by, thank you, 4-point play behind me. It's a staple, of course. The they were only won by 10. The last 2 minutes of this game took way too longer than it had to. Um, I mean, I guess we'll just start with the nitpicks. Like I said, Frank Ntilikina, 9 points, 3 of 3 from three, and yet did not play in the fourth quarter. Only played a couple minutes in the fourth quarter. And as much as I respect Reggie Bullock and has probably earned minutes, I was begging for Frank to get some time, some burn down the stretch, which was a little frustrating. Yeah, I would have liked to see IQ on the court in the very last few minutes when you needed a free throw shooter to ice the game. But all in all, I mean, this is a very positive live stream normally, and this is gonna be the we're gonna celebrate a victory. This is a good bounce back win after they lost to the Spurs the other night. It's funny that I'm talking about Frank because I gotta just give a shout out to my old co-host and now John's co-host, Jeremy Cohen. So back when he and I used to host the Knicks podcast, I want to say I was one of the haters of Frank, but it wasn't so much that I didn't believe in his ability. I just thought he was like Caruso, like that's like the best case scenario for Frank as production. Like he'll do the little things. They won't always shut up in the box score. He's never going to be, a guy that averages 17 a game, but he's a guy that will average 6 or 7 a game. And as you're seeing, the box score, it won't always show what he's doing, but because you watch, the eye test, as John's other daughter talked about, obviously has something to do with how Frank can be productive. And now, like, this is a game changer. Like, if he's going to shoot, I don't think he's going to shoot 55% from three, but let's just cut that to 40. Like, he's now a productive player. I would like to see him get more minutes in the second half. I've seen people saying that Reggie Bullock is trade bait and Frank is more product Ob. I don't know. I read that wrong. Fan man cave. That's right. This is a fan man cave. I worked hard on it too. So yeah, props to Frank for at least showing he can be a shooter that can make defenders be honest. Like Frank was being left open for a reason, and now like you actually now have to guard him. Michael Aaron in the super chat. We got to give credit where credit is due. Elf had a really good game. I still want Rose to start though. 1000%. So I mentioned that I only wanted Quickley for the end of the game because he's a 90,000% free throw shooter. He had an off game, which he's a rookie. You're allowed to have those games. His shot wasn't falling. I think he's the only person that played that didn't score. I want to say that, and I've been just as vocal at my criticism of Elfrid Payton. Anytime I can get a joke off at his expense, I've done it on Twitter.com. But I can't say they win this game without Elfrid Payton, which I'm not saying like an average point guard couldn't have just taken his spot and he wouldn't have, they still wouldn't have won. Derrick Rose, an above average point guard at this point in his career, has been part of the rotation when they've been winning games. And he filled in and everything fit perfectly when the Pistons lost on Sunday in a blowout. But props to Peyton. I don't think his future is here. Is that Mrs. Macri in the chat? You just had a baby. That's real, right? Everybody go in the chat if you don't see it and wish I was confused that John was going to be here tonight and Mrs. Macri's here. Dolores, congratulations. Man, women are just so much better at us than I'm not even trying to earn points here. That's impressive. Okay, where was I? Julius Randle. That's what I want to talk about. I believe he finished with 26, 16, and 6, which is something that we should be used to by now. What else can you say about Julius Randle? The one thing I want to talk about with Randle is the article he wrote in the Players Tribune today. Hand up if you wanted Julius Randle gone for a second rounder before the season, or just play him enough so that we get his trade bait up. 27, 16, and 7. Thank you, Cheryl Williams. Man, I wanted Julius Randle gone. I wanted him out of here. John texted me. Okay. Stay tuned is all I will say. Reading that letter, I'd say letter because I think that's what the Players Tribune can be. Sometimes it's just, we write fan letters. He's actually writing a letter to us. Reading that piece in the Players Tribune, I gotta say, it's the type of thing that you look back years later and it's like that season, those moments, us campaigning for him to be an all-star, him earning our respect and making us eat crow. This city can be very we fall in love with people that just talk about that they work hard. This city fell in love with John Starks. I love John Starks. There's a Carmelo Anthony poster that way. There's a Larry Johnson, that whole 99 team I revere as the greatest thing that's ever happened in Knicks history. And they were an 8 seed that got hot in the postseason. That's the stuff that Julius Randle is doing this year. Because a lot of people have compared this season to the 2010 season, the beginning of it before the Melo trade. And I feel like it's that, but if Amari was a guy that we hated the year before, and then he came the next season and completely redefined his body, completely changed his philosophy. One of the biggest play of this game, Pistons made it interesting in the fourth quarter. I believe they had gotten it down to 10, and Peyton missed a layup, came back the other end, and Plumlee, who for some reason turned into Olajuwon in the fourth quarter, goes up for a post-up, and Randle swats his shit off the backboard, and it leads to a wide open layup down the other end. That doesn't happen last year. That didn't happen last year. It's just the stuff that you can now see. My brother I think he's 20 years old now. This is the stuff that when you're a kid or when you're younger, I say a kid, I'm 32. I'm allowed to call 20-year-olds kids. When you're young and you fall in love with a player, this is the type of stuff that happens when they're just starting to win, when they're just starting to become part of why fans fall in love with players. This is it. The Knicks are good, question mark. I know the net rating thing says they're probably around a 500 team. Well, they're 19 and 18, so I'll take it. RJ Barrett. So here's the thing about RJ. I've gone back and forth with RJ Barrett. I like how I said that, I actually know him. I talked to RJ Barrett. I've gone back and forth. Macri's in the chat. Randle for Jets QB. I will take Zach Wilson. Thank you very much. RJ got rewarded. Okay, RJ Barrett. So I've gone back and forth with RJ because I think he's much better than some. Like, he should have made second team, at least all rookie last year. I think a lot of the situation is why he was so poor, why his numbers look so poor. He was sharing the court with last year version of Randall, last year version of Alfred Payton, last year version of Marcus Morris. I was much higher than RJ with a coach, with a system that was much more open, much more catered to giving him a chance to run the offense at times, that it would be better, where he was like, okay, you're the number 2 guy. And that, like, we can live with that. And this season, he's had his ups and his downs, but like the consistency, what he's up to? Someone put it in the chat. What is he up? What is he up to from 3-point land? Because his shooting splits across the board show somebody that's at least improving in year 2, which is what you want from a guy like that. I can't say he's going to be Zion. Like, we have to just get over the fact that he's not Zion or Ja Morant. But if he ends up being, like, if they go out and get a guy in free agency or add to what they're building, I'm okay with RJ Barrett being the 3rd best guy on this team. He's around 35%. Jets are trash and will stay that way. Listen, I'm with you guys on, like, defend the Knicks at all costs. I'm so defeated as a Jets fan. You're right. They're probably going to be trash. I've got this illusions of grandeur that they're going to get Deshaun Watson. I'm not even there with that. They're probably going to draft the wrong quarterback in this draft. They're probably going to, who the hell is a Jets fan? That'd be me, unfortunately. Anyway, the Knicks. So, yeah, I'm with RJ. I'm glad to see that he's showing some form of consistency. Like, just give me 6 points a quarter, dude, or 5 points a quarter, and then that's 20 a game. Randall's the one running the offense. Like, you're gonna play the second most minutes most likely anyway. Who put Danny Dimes over Sam Darnold? At least you're not a Mets fan. Yeah, hate to say it, but what do you mean? At least I'm not a Mets fan. I'm very happy with the richest owner in all of sports, or second richest owner in all of sports. Thank you very much. Okay, we talked about RJ. We talked about I guess I'll just make a note about Nerlens Noel. Dude, like, stick him something. You guys ever seen Little Giants, the receiver that can't catch? And so he has to imagine that the ball, every time it's thrown to him, is a roll of toilet paper. Someone just over the All-Star break, make Nerlens Noel watch Little Giants. Just do me that favor and do that, because I don't get it, because he's a block machine. Like, Wasserman put out that stat tonight that his box plus minus on defense is really good, which is a stat that John's gonna have to tell you about in a newsletter. But I trust when people like that put these stats out that make the Knicks look good. However, I don't get it. I don't get what stick them allowed in the NBA. It's the weirdest thing, because every other part of his game, he's been the perfect backup center, and he stepped up significantly throughout this season with Mitch going down. So yeah, I that's all I really got with Nerlens Noel. I touched on Frank. I talked about Frank. John's taught me not how to word that correctly. Randall, Obi Toppin. First off, happy birthday. Second off, I love how my allegiances to sports have started a back and forth in the chat. Can we just all be Knicks fans tonight? They're somewhat good. Like, I don't want to jump the gun with, like, they're a top 4 team in the East. Let's all be Knicks fans tonight. Yes, John, no touching. Obi Toppin. So John and I have actually talked when we get a chance. Like, we bring up some stuff about, like, some in-depth Knicks stuff, and it's like, is Obi here when the Knicks are ready to be good? And the Halliburton thing is always going to be there. I personally think we should hold all the teams except Charlotte that didn't take Tyrese Halliburton. Why is it just the Knicks that get frustrated, get shit for this? But, like, Obi is definitely way more of a project than I thought he would be. No, it's not. Hallie stinks. Thank you, Chris. um, Obi is way more of a product than I thought he would be. He will show flashes when he gets significant minutes. Like, well, when I say significant minutes, I mean like 5 minutes at a time. Because what will happen with Obi is he'll touch the ball on one possession and he'll make like a nice move, or he'll miss a three or something. We'll go 4 possessions without touching the ball because he's on the court with Quickley, on the court with Burks, on the court with other guys that are much more ball dominant. And then he'll sit for the NBA minutes leader, which I'm not complaining about that. Um, a lot of John, I think in the newsletters made the comparison to Montrezl Harrell. He came into the league with all of this talk about Amari and Amari 2.0. Well, Amari needed Steve Nash for the first couple of years to get him in positions to score better. I don't know if Obi's defense, if Tibbs is the long-term coach, is going to be something that is here. It's tough because I hate doing this where we talk about a player in a very limited sample size and try to make a judgment. However, it's definitely a cause for concern. I go to my grave that it's like miss me with the should have drafted, because all of the drafts are crapshoots. If you went in saying, like, I personally wanted Devin Vassell, so I can't even say I wanted Halliburton. Like the Knox draft, I wanted Bridges. I didn't want SGA. I didn't want Porter Jr. So we all have our hits and misses with these guys that are 18 to 19 years old. I guess in Toppin's case, 30. But I am concerned that there's like like you saw what happened at the beginning of the fourth quarter. We were headed toward a night where Randle could get a fourth quarter of rest. And instead, lead gets cut down quickly, no pun intended, and he puts the starters back in. And that's just like a thing Tibbs does, because he doesn't, like, I need the guys I trust that have earned my trust this season. So yeah, I've touched on everybody that I think is important from this game. Alec Burks had some nice points off the bench. Bullock, I mentioned at the top, would have much rather seen Frank in the game down the stretch. I think he's earned that. I just want to see, like, okay, so we talked about the Mets before. In their history, there's been a couple guys where they're hitting 350 or their OPS is really high, and their manager is like, but he's a pinch hitter. And it's like, can we just like leave him in until he's hitting under 300 and then see what happens? Like, let's get to that point. With Frank, let's just leave him in until he's shooting under 40% from three. Let's just see what happens. Let him keep shooting. And then if he gets under, then we'll reassess. But he's shooting like 60% from three this season. So let's see what happens. Okay. I'm going to venture into the chat, and then I got a little surprise for you guys at the end. Peyton, Bullock, Obi, 2021 first for Redick and Lonzo. I don't think the Pelicans are going to trade Lonzo. I think the Pelicans are much more. They're starting to build something. I think Lonzo might be part of the solution. If I'm not ready to give up on. Wait, which 2021 first? No, never mind. I never mind. I don't want to trade any of the first round picks this season. I don't. I'm sorry. I need to see where they are before I'm willing to trade them. The Knicks are building through the draft. We've seen them hit on Mitchell Robinson and Emmanuel Quickley. I'm okay if they have a pick that's like 14 and 22 this year. I'm okay with not trading picks. I am interested in Lonzo. I would like him, like Tyler Michael says this in the chat, let's just sign Lonzo in free agency. He's a restricted free agent. I convinced myself that Tim Hardaway Jr. was an okay restricted free agent signing at 4 for 72. I think Lonzo would cost around that much. So why not just do that? And then, like, the way he's played this year, if he's much better, he's the ball handler that you want next to Randle, because he's not going to be as high a usage rate. He's a better catch and three player, the catch and shoot player, especially from three, than Peyton is. So if you're substituting the 33 minutes a game from Peyton with Lonzo Ball, I think that's actually pretty comparable. Or not comparable, it's an upgrade. So I'm all for getting Lonzo, just not at that price. I'd rather wait until free agency. Frank, not a PG. He's a 3D wing that needs to be played as such. I agree. I don't think the person I wanted him to play for tonight was Reggie Bullock. It wasn't Peyton. It wasn't Alec Burks. It wasn't even Quickley. I think Frank is like a utility man. I'm keep using baseball. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's a guy that can just be on the court guarding the other team's best player 1 through 3. And then, if he's going to hit threes, then you got to leave him in. I'd rather have Trent Jr. over Lonzo. Why not both? That would be my answer. I like both. I don't think the Blazers are going to trade Trent or even going to let Trent Jr. go at this point because I think they have championship aspirations. They're not looking to subtract. They're looking to keep what they have intact. I don't understand the Bullock love from Tibbs. He's good on D, but that's it. Pause. I don't either. I'd much rather see Alec Burks or Frank be in the lineup, but at the same time, the Knicks have like 4 guys that are in for shooting. And like specifically just if you're hitting from 3, that's all you're going to have to do. I guess Quickley scores a little more than that. But at this point, it's Frank, Burks, and Bullock. So that's their role. So you kind of hope anytime Bullock shoots that he's one of those guys that's, I'm 4 for 7 this game, all from 3. I'm 2 for 5 this game, all from 3. That's all you're asking from him. So I didn't like tonight that he took, 11 shots, only made, 2 of 11, 3 of 11. I didn't like that, but it's hard to complain when you're winning. Let's see. Alec Burks from Kareem Asur. Alec Burks killed us today with his selfishness. I actually prefer Bullock over him. Don't disagree. Again, I wanted Frank. Can't trade Obi after 1 year. Let him back up Randle and let him play out his rookie contract at least. Fans too quick to get rid of talent. I don't disagree. See, that's just the thing with Obi is someone look up and put it in the chat. Is he average? Has he go to his game log? How many times has he played more than 15 minutes? That's all I want to know this season. And then if it's like twice, then someone put Obi will be 27 when his rookie contract expires. It's just such a small sample size, and Randle has earned the minutes. I think if in a different world where Randle was last year Randle, we'd be saying Obi needs to play more, or you might even just by default, Obi would be playing more. I think last year with Fizdale or Mike Miller, Obi would be playing more. 2 times over 20, Macri says. And I think one of those games is his first game. And then the other time was most of the minutes were in garbage time. Adam says 7 games more than 15 minutes played. Now do more than 11 because it's not a lot. We're 37 games into the season. He's only played 57 games more than 15 minutes. It's just such a small sample size with Obi Toppin. Elite 23-26. Pascal Siakam was 22 when he came into the league. Different circumstances, different type of player. I agree. It's just way too quick to trade or give up on Obi Toppin. We also have 17. Hold on. Adam said 17 more than 11. All right, so that's actually more than I thought. What was I saying? Obi. It's just a different sample size. It's a different type of player than Siakam. I would like to see him get. Oh, that's what I was saying. We got to remember he got drafted 3 weeks before the season started. I get it. You were getting ready for the draft. So you accept that he should have been in shape, or you expect that he should have been in shape. But I'm much more curious what he does with an NBA offseason. He's going to play some playoff minutes, I believe. Just there's no reason to give up that much. Shaq gun. Quickley needs to learn how to Quickley needs to learn how to not pick up his dribble. That's what gets him in trouble. Tonight was just an off night. I'm not gonna punch too down on Emmanuel Quickley. He's been arguably the 3rd best player on this team. He's easily been their 2nd best offensive player at times. When he's not on, he's off. Which Wow, did I just say that? When he's not on, he's like a 0 is what I would say. Like he doesn't really contribute in too many other ways, but when he's scoring, like you leave him in because he doesn't miss. Like those games where he'll get 23 points on 3 shots. Like you have to leave him in and just ride it out to see what happens. Again, phrasing. But on games like tonight where his shot isn't falling, you really have to be okay with the reminder that he's 21 years old and he's gonna struggle in his rookie season, especially for a late first round pick. So he facilitated tonight. Okay, tonight. Yeah, I'll be honest. He wasn't. See, he had a couple of hesitations that I didn't like. He was searching for the foul. It wasn't getting called. He had that travel, which led to his last play of the game. He did have a nice cross court pass to Burks that just didn't go in, which I liked. I'm not worried. I do not need to tell you guys how good Emmanuel Quickley's been this season. He's been incredible. Quickley is better than Rose on the court. It's Quickley's 21. Derrick Rose is a former MVP. Derrick Rose does different things than Emmanuel Quickley. If you really want to put them up against each other, those from Rev John Ortiz. What's up, homie? If you want to put what they've done, like, do I need a bucket? Then I'd probably go D Rose. Do I need a 3 to be made? I'd probably go Quickley. Do I need a stop? As weird as this is, as somebody who intently watched 2017, I'd probably pick D Rose. I used to call him Eric Rose because he doesn't play D. And if I needed a free throw made, I'd pick Quickley. I think they're the perfect complement of players to play on the court together, which is why, like, I want to keep D Rose, but I don't want to keep him as the backup point guard at this point. So he plays next to Quickley. I like Quickley from Adam. I like Quickley with Frank over Rose. Oh, okay. I caught up on that. I like Quickley with Frank instead of Derrick Rose. I mean, you might get your wish if Elfrid Payton gets traded, although I think tonight actually solidified that Payton's not going anywhere. Frank Hive is buzzing from yellow beast mode. Absolutely. Quickley ceiling is probably Vinny Johnson, which isn't bad. I really hope not. I'd rather be more like CJ McCollum or Lou Williams. Rookies always, again from yellow beast mode, rookies always deserve a pass. You can rip on sophomores though. Even then, as long as the sophomore isn't regressing, like we ripped on Kevin Knox a ton when he was a sophomore. Like RJ, I think you wanted to see improvement and you have. So yes, Zolo J, Eric Rose, shout out. Quickly, Chris Persian. Quickley ceiling is Michael Jordan. Cry. Chris, we just need to give a shout out to our young Padawan here at Knicks Film School, who has made the last week a living hell for people who had some receipts that needed pulled up with their slander of the Knicks. Thank you, Chris, for your service to Knicks Twitter. It is much appreciated. Let's get a couple more. Ask me like anything. It could be trade related. Who I would like in trades and stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be Jeremy Chase. I kind of like the Vinny Johnson comp. Look, I'll believe you. A 6th man off the bench that makes sense to microwave if you wanted to. Love you, Andrew. Love you too, Chris. Peyton tradable from Adam. There are teams that need a point guard. You just need to get Peyton to agree to it. And if you told him you're not going to play anymore, then yeah, I just don't see that happening. Can't we wait for Beal for next year from Dirk Joseph? So here's the thing about Bradley Beal. If you're saying wait until he's a free agent, I'll hear you. Look at what the cost of a big star has been. Because I see this all the time in this chat and on Twitter. We'll offer, Frank, we'll offer Knox, we'll offer just one of the picks this year. Like, if you really want Bradley Beal, bye-bye RJ, bye-bye Mitch, bye-bye both picks this year, probably another pick. Like, James Harden went for 7 first-rounders. Now, I get it. Beal is a step above James Harden, but like multiple players, multiple rotation pieces, multiple future assets got traded for one player. Bradley Beal, especially since Washington has no incentive to trade him because Russell Westbrook is on their books for the next 2 years. Bradley Beal's going to cost a ton, and especially when you hear what he's had to say, and he wants to be the next Dame Lillard. He wants to be part of the solution in Washington. So in order to get him lured out, you're going to have to give up a lot, and I'd rather not do that. So as far as Bradley Beal is concerned, I'll pass for now. Look, I made this analogy. I went on a podcast the other day with the guys from Elite Sports New York, and I made an analogy that the Knicks dating history, like, we've been through a lot, especially like old heads like me and John, where like in the 2000s we had this really brutal relationship and like torturesome, abusive, and when we finally got out, we just needed something stable. And then we got into one, and we experienced some success. It was kind of cool, and we it was much better than we thought it would, but it obviously had to end at a certain point. Then someone older came along, and we thought because he had worked with somebody else and made it work with a rival, that it was now our turn to experience that success. And it was like, it didn't work at all. It just did not work at all. And then we went with somebody else that had always been around, and we thought, well, okay, maybe this could be a friendship thing. Maybe, friends into lovers. And then they did something, and everybody told us it was bad. Like, how could you do that? And we got so defensive. It was like, no, you don't get it. Steve Mills loves me. Okay. Porzingis is part of our, we didn't need him. Like, I trust Steve Mills. Okay. And then obviously we found out that didn't work. Here we are today, back in a stable relationship. And we're so quick to jump back into, oh, okay, we can skip a bunch of steps. We can move. We can get married. We're the kids. Let's buy a house. Let's just enjoy the next relationship, the stability of it. The Knicks are 19 and 18. Doesn't have to be anything more than that. Shout out. Oh, wow. Shout out to Hiram Claudio, my father. I apologize if I've cussed a ton on this pod, Pastor Hiram. Okay. I think we'll do a couple more, and then I'm going to call John so he can talk to you guys. I think you guys had like a whole conversation about Booker in the chat. Devin Booker's contending for a title this year. I don't know if you guys have watched enough of the Suns. I know Chris has been very high on Devin Booker. I love the kid. I think he's going to be a Phoenix Sun for a long time. I think they're going to be in contention at least this year and a couple of years later. A lot of bad things to happen to the Suns before he becomes available. Dirk Joseph again. I hope they don't trade for Oladipo. I do too. I'm not as high on Oladipo as other people are, especially since he's like gonna be a free agent in a couple of months. What are you getting? That's like, so what? You can be the 4 seed. You can be the 4 seed without Oladipo. The one thing that hasn't come up yet, which I'm proud of you guys for, please stop with the Andre Drummond stuff. He's got a 30% usage rate. If we're getting someone to replace Mitch, it's not Andre Drummond. He would take the ball out of Julius Randle and out of RJ's hands rather than complement them like Mitch and Nerlens Noel currently do. So thank you. That's the other thing about Oladipo. Every time I go to check on him, he's coming off an injury. He's coming back from an injury. He's currently rehabbing or resting because of a nagging injury. I don't want to give that a long-term. I don't want to give up any assets for that. I don't want to commit anything long-term to that. Bomber BCM will be fine. Chris Paul honeymoon, always great, but he drives his teammates crazy. That's obviously referring to Devin Booker. I think winning is fun though, and this is the first time that Suns group has won. They've talked nothing but glowingly about Chris Paul so far. Jason M, realistic targets at the deadline. So here's the tough part about that question. Is the entire Eastern Conference outside of the top 3 and the Pistons is separated by 4 games. So it's tough for me to actually figure out who's going to be a realistic trade partner, because while the Knicks have some unused cap space, while the Knicks, have some assets they can trade for, everybody kind of thinks that they're in it, especially since there's 10 teams that are going to make the playoffs in this conference this year. Fournier and Chris brought this up. Evan Fournier, in free agency this offseason, I've been trying to put people on. I like Fournier. I'd love him as like an upgrade over like Austin Rivers, what he was supposed to be. I don't necessarily think I want to trade for him though. Is where I am at this point. I want Bomber BCM. I wanted Laurie last season, but now for the forward logjam, it looks less likely. Laurie Markkinen would your best case scenario for Laurie Markkinen is what you're getting from Julius Randle. Like they're both stretch fours. Like at this point, you're getting exactly. I'd have to really look at the stats on Laurie Markkinen, but I think so. Okay, here's the actual thing. So on that Bulls team is a man named Zach LaVine, and my buddy Henry has been texting me just LaVine's stats every night. He's a guy that if you just wanted to add to this team, LaVine can, I think, opt out. If it's not this summer, it's next summer. He's a guy I'd consider because if he's like if you're seeing Randall still playing like this, RJ takes another step. Obi doesn't look like so. Chris is saying sign LaVine in 2022 free agency. That's actually something I'd be interested in because there's a lot of teams that I just talked about it. There's the top 3 in the East, and then there's the Pistons. You could solidify yourself as one of those top 4 if you continue to add on to the core you have here. A last one, Dirk Joseph. Do we wait to see how this team does at the end of the year, or we address Randall, or do we do it now? 4-year extension. Well, the beauty of it is that you can wait if you'd like to. The only thing I'd say as far as waiting, because a lot of people say just opt into his last year and then extend him during the season. Man, there's the buzzword is culture, and as frustrating as some of that is, because like the Nets had culture and they got Durant and Kyrie, and it was like no. Durant and Kyrie wanted to play in Brooklyn. Durant tore his Achilles, wanted to go play for a team that was much closer than the Knicks were. And that's it. Like, it wasn't culture. He was talking on Hot 97 that he was watching Kenny Atkinson YouTube videos. No, you fired Kenny Atkinson without even playing a game for him. Stop it. That culture had nothing to do with it. The Nets culture got traded for James Harden. But if you did want to establish that if you perform for this team, if you perform under Tibbs, and as a job well done for Julius Randle for putting up the improved stats he has this year, putting up all-star worthy stats, and in my opinion, and hopefully as somebody who has Julius Randle at plus 5,000 5 weeks ago, cha-ching, gonna win the most improved player as well. If you want to reward that with an extension just to establish culture, like, okay, we have a building block that's going to be here for the next 5 years. We have a leader we can build around. Fine. I'm okay with that. The fact of the matter is there's no urgency to do it, at least not right now. So that's where I am with that. I definitely wouldn't do it like during the All-Star break. I'd approach him this offseason and say, hey, we're going to look to extend you past this opt-in year. I think you can do that. Jeremy or people that are smarter with the cap, we could do it that way. Okay, can we sign LeBron when he's 43? I mean, at this point, he's probably still going to be putting up 27, 7, and 7. So absolutely. Okay, hold on a second, guys. Also, in the chat, if there's feedback, let me know.
Hey man, you're gonna put me out of a job.
Why? What'd I do?
I mean, you killed it. I could watch you all night long.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. I literally watch you on a nightly basis after games. You're on the chat. I don't know if you saw this, but you're on the chat currently or on the post game live stream. Say hello to the people. Say what you'd like to say. How's wifey? How's the kid?
My wife just peed, which is apparently a big accomplishment after you give birth. So big shout out to peeing.
Yes, science.
Yeah, no, it's great. Also, I learned today that a child can defecate whilst in the womb.
Oh no.
Yes, and so literally it eats its own shit sometimes. Yeah, no, it's a crazy world out there. I'm holding Isabel.
Hey.
Yeah, no, she's doing good. Great, fun game tonight. More stressful than it should have been, much like my day today. But no, I mean you hit everything, and yeah, man, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who wrote such kind things in the chat, saying congratulations and all that stuff, because it was it's all that is extraordinarily meaningful to me, more than I can express here. So thank you everybody, and of course thanks to you for filling it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your child is 1-0 as a Knicks fan. The Knicks are 1-0 since you've had a kid, so the next time they lose, you just have to have another kid is what's going to have to happen.
I mean, I'm gonna keep track of this for as long as they're above 500 while she's alive.
Ooh.
You know, she's gonna wear that as a badge of honor. So let's hope it can.
There you go. Knicks winning, shits herself in the womb. That's what we know about baby girl number 2. Congratulations, buddy. We'll talk later, but I'm reading the chat now. Everybody is very appreciative of what you've done and what you do, and is very sends you very warm wishes to you and the fam.
My wishes right back to them. Let's enjoy the break and then come out of it on top.
There we go. There we go. All righty. Have a good night, bud. Okay. John Macri, ladies and gentlemen, father of 2. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up with something I do on my show, Final Score. It's called a final recommendation. You can't see it because there was no room in the backdrop, but I'm a bit of a cinephile. I like to watch movies, and I want to recommend a movie for you guys, if it's all right. It's my final recommendation. It was nominated, I think it won for foreign language film on Sunday. Minari. It's going cold. It's $20 to rent on Apple TV. It is beautiful. It is a story of a Korean family that's learning to be farmers here in America. It touches on a lot of relevant issues that happen right now. It is an incredibly beautiful movie. I really hope it gets love at the Oscars. If you're looking for something that just costs a subscription service, WandaVision drops at 3 a.m. tonight. If you're not caught up, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't think I have to recommend this. I'm sure you're all watching WandaVision. Okay, guys, this was fun. As always, as John, Stephen Yeun, the Glenn from The Walking Dead. He was also, this is where I get nerdy on you. Stephen Yeun was also in a movie called Burning last year or 2 years ago, which actually not 3 years ago. I'm thinking. Arguably a top 25 movie of the last decade. It's Burning. I think it's available on Netflix too if you want to check it out. Series finale, Joshua Richards. Okay. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel. I think we're like less than 100 away from 5,000. So if you want to really, really bless John Macri and his family, get us over 5,000. Well done. Take care. Brush your hair. I wore a hat for a reason. Let's get up to 5,000 subscribers on this channel. I'll shout out CP. Thumbs up for your boy. Subscribe to the Knicks Film School podcast. There's no episode tomorrow because this is the episode that you're getting at midnight. But subscribe, rate, review. I personally would much appreciate it. As far as personally, I mean, you can check out Final Score if you'd like. We're doing our top 10 movies of 2020 this week. Shout out to Bernard Ozrowski, who will be on that pod with me. And guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. Let's go Knicks. We are over 500 at the All-Star break. Who'da thunk it? What a world. Take care, guys.